All right, guys, we're going to continue with the Atari Force. This is issue number 5. It's not the best condition, a lot of, dents and well, it doesn't look good. But that's not why I'm reviewing the books. But it's what I see. Too bad. Let's move on. So it seems that Martin Champion, Darts, and Chris Champion wants to steal this Scanner 1 for a mission. Although it seems that Kurt doesn't know why he needs to steal it. But they go along with it for reasons. And this is the same Scanner 1 of this is volume 2, by the way, of Atari Force. The volume 1 is 5 issues, if I remember correctly. I don't have that. It's really hard to come by, the original one. And but yeah, that's what it is. I grew up with this, not with the original, because, well, it didn't came out in my country. So gorgeous shot here of this guy's getting getting a surprise. So Martin comes in phasing, says boo, while Dart is taking it out. I love the very, how do you say, 80s science fiction look. Lots of detail, otherworldly weaponry. Looks great. So Dart says, boo. Sometimes I wonder about you, little brother. You remind me of a friend I once... Never mind, he was like you to him. Life was a game, but I promise you, little brother, it's no game. We don't have time for talk. Tempest. So Tempest comes in and then releasing the main airlock. And so they are on board. But then Morphia comes. And Morphia, because he was looking for Martin Champion for his regular sessions. And basically she followed him. So Dart wants to put her to sleep. But then Martin says, no, you can't. This is my doctor. And so Chris says, so Dad has a soft spot. Nice to know. Anyway, so they are shutting off the main lock. And so Morphia says, you leaving New Earth? Perhaps we may bargain. That's coming a little bit later. So, but then Pakrat comes because he's been followed by his brother. Brother has no jurisdiction here officially, but he's hunting his brother because he's basically disgraced to his race because they have all some higher official like jobs, except for Pakrat, who is actually a thief. So Martin powers up the ship, and Scanners 1 shudders. Shaken on its mounted, an old warhorse summoned once more to battle. Age and neglect are its enemies, and at first it seems unwilling to stir against them. But then the air shimmers and reality vibrates like a tuning fork. Scanner 1 disappears, basically teleporting out. Nice little bit narrative here. So then they are again stationed at Atari Force station above the atmosphere. Orbit. So Martin says, I figure we have 2 minutes for you to make your pickup before station security realize here we are unauthorized. And she's thanking him. It's a bargain we struck, Morphia. You come along on this mission to provide medical backup. And after we finish, we help you set that overgrown baby out here back to his parents on his planet Egg, provided he doesn't eat us out of our rations store first. So, yeah, Morphia calls out to Babe here. She's just breaking this cargo. And she says, where we go, Morphia? This one only wishes she knew, child. You learn soon enough, Doctor. All right, so they're getting out of here, right? Atari Station's police force, I guess, wants to apprehend, but they are being zapping out, teleporting away. But then, I know there's some kind of a tribunal. So, Pakrat's brother here is reporting, it's vanished? How is this possible? Why weren't its power cells drained decades ago? An oversight, ma'am. We suspect Commander Champion was responsible. Apparently, your French champion is responsible for a great many oversights, Dr. Orion. You there, customs officer. What part you have to play in all this? So he explains that he is hunting his brother, right, because he's a thief. And also that Scanner 1 disappeared from Atari Museum. And he thinks that his brother is in cahoots with Martin Champion or vice versa, being criminals and all that stuff. But then Dr. Ryan's, wow, that's ridiculous. Absurd. Martin's behavior is erratic, but criminal? That I cannot believe. We were friends, member of the Atari Force. I trust him with my life. I'm certain he has an explanation for what he's done. Yes, but we hardly in a position to ask him for such an explanation, are we? Anyway, so Dr. Ryan says, hey, if the chair will allow a brief representation of what we know. So then he goes all who these people are, right? So you can read it here. I'm explain who these guys are. These are your criminals, customs officer. Quite a desperate crew, aren't they? Champion is a good man, one of the founders of New Earth. When his wife died in childbirth, he went mad. He blamed some evil force from the multiverse for that and everything else bad that happened in the galaxy. A sick man, but not a criminal. The woman Darts, daughter of Champion's colleagues aboard Scanner 1 during the days of the Atari Force more than 20 years ago. A mercenary at loose ends. Her lover and partner, a man named Blackjack, died several weeks ago. Undoubtedly she fell in with Champions for amusement. The boy Tempest, Champion's son. He possesses remarkable face powers and nearly uncontrollable temper. That's why they call him Tempest, I guess. Until recently, he and Champion never spoke. The relationship was destroyed by Martin's memory of the boy's mother. I'd say Tempest would do anything to win his father's attention and love. And then they talk about Morphia and Egg. And Morphia develops some kind of a maternal instinct because she has no mother, because she's an insect. And, so they formed a bond and a relationship. All well and good, but why did Champion steal Scanner 1? I believe he wants to trace his imaginary evil force. But then the custom officer says, what difference, why? Whatever you say, he's a thief. I know about thieves, Doctor. Pakrat was born, my brother, there's only one way to handle a thief. Track him down and bring him to justice. Give me a ship with a multi-drive capability and I'll catch all our thieves. You have no authority here. In fact, you were when you fired your weapon at Atari Museum, you broke our law. I recognize a higher law. Justice. That's a good one. So he goes to the ship, which looks cool, by the way. And so he also takes off. It's over, brother. You escaped me for the last time. Our family honor will be restored and can only be restored by your death. I like this. The brother is not... this officer is not a bad guy, but, his family, like I said, comes from, they are, born into higher, jobs, and Pakrat's, defiling that lineage. So, pretty cool. And then we go to Scanner 1. So Chris asks his father, hey, isn't it about time you told us on our way where? Before we started, I warned you, no explanations until I decide to give them. That pisses off Chris, and he thinks, I feel so dumb. Let him talk me into helping steal the ship for some wild goose chase off a secret mission. Got to get out. So he's phasing to to the multiverse where he finds peace. I wish I could do that, go to some kind of a remote, sunny island in the Caribbean or something, chilling. Anyway, so Pakrat cannot believe his eyes. Humans who walk through walls? What have you gotten into this time, Pakrat? So, and then he bumps into Egg, and Morpheus says, hey, we have a stowaway, and, Pakrat wants to get out of here as soon as possible. But then he's trapped. Going somewhere? I got you cornered. Yeah, this is what triggers Pakrat's animal instinct when he's cornered, like a wounded animal. He lashes out. He's lighter than she by 12 kilograms, but the ferocity of attacks boils her over. Frankly, she's impressed, but, she's a tough, character. She takes him out. And then he wakes up in, medical bay, right? And Morpheus scans his brains or his thoughts. And comes to the conclusion that he wants to get out here already. His name is Tuklaoli, but he calls himself Pakrat. It would seem he is, by trade, a thief. He cannot believe that she did that. He is terrified. It appears he lives his entire life in a state akin to panic, she says, except for those moments when he is cut off from flight. A most intriguing psychosis. It's really what we need, a psychotic stowaway. A thief may prove useful, Martin, where we are going. This urges caution, says Morphia. Anyway, there's some jokes here. He's a coward, but he actually is not, but he acts like a coward. And he says, can you drop me off the nearest spaceport? No port, says Martin. Pakrat, ever heard of the multiverse? Multi, you mean other dimensions? Eep. All I ever wanted to do was collect pretty things for a profit. My brothers always said I end up in real trouble someday. Who would have known they'd be so right? Relax, don't pretend you're such a coward. Who's pretending? Anyway, so might as well accept facts, my friend. Like it or not, you're part of a group. So Dart says, Chris should hear this. I have a good idea where to find him. So she reaching out to him on the multiverse, finds him, and then has some kind of a astral projection and saying, hey, Chris, it's time to come back. Hey, you started me. Feeling better? Yeah, that's got under my skin, that's all. So you still can reach me with a psychic image. Guess it's talents you don't lose. Anyway, so Martin says this is probably a one-way trip. The probes that preceded us never came back. So yeah, in the last did he throw out some probes, but then the probes were intercepted by the enemy, right? And now he's afraid that, the enemy would trace the probe back to its origin, also, Earth or New Earth, and then probably, try to destroy it. We have to retrieve the captured probe or die in trying. Dying as in dead? He faints. We must retrain the probe. We must, before the enemy uses memory bank to backtrack to our world line. Martin's obsession with this fantasy man is more serious than I imagined. He truly believes in this enemy. One more thing, if we're captured to our navigation records will chart a straight line back to New Earth. That's an unacceptable risk. You know what you're saying, Martin? He knows. We lose the nav record, and only my face powers can lead us home. That's why he wanted me along as a backup. Thanks a lot, Dad. What if I fail? Then we'll spend the rest of our lives wandering lost in the multiverse. Stupid question. So he destroys this, navigation chip. Did I miss something? Not much. Dad smashed on nav chip. Gets a lot of sleep, doesn't he? Personally, I like his style. She says. Anyway, so they're going to out of the multiverse, I don't know. They weren't in the multiverse, they were into, what do you say? That's not the multiverse, but how do you say it? Light? Jesus, it sits on the top and to warp, I guess. Or they really were in the multiverse right now, phasing through it. I guess that's the way they travel, right? Yeah, the multiverse. I was wrong. I'm just blanking on going to warp or something like that. My fault. Anyway, we're back in normal space. But what in universe, Martin? A ship? Didn't you believe me, did you? Thought I was crazy, but now you know. The enemy is real. So also the brother of Pakrat is chasing him, being quiet. And then the goons on the enemy ship says, computer analysis identifies first ship as Scanner 1. They have Con Lord as you plan. I like these weird creatures with all these mechanical parts on them. Nice. And the enemy says, good. I really love this appearance, this character, this creepy helmet. And a lot of details, with the belts and the things that he's on his armor and its big ass gun, and of course all these space things and equipment around him. Pretty cool. Leads us to the next issue, guys. We're gonna continue this book. Let me know in the comments what you think about it, and I see you next time. Bye bye.